What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here, and we're going to talk about rider confidence. Now, rider confidence is very key, very important to riding safely. And at the end of the day, you're really only confident when you're having fun. If you're scared, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not very confident, you're not going to have fun. So it's really rider confidence and having fun. We're going to go ahead and talk about that stuff today, but if you want to become part of the Patreon crew, the DDFM crew, there's a link in the description, and everyone here popping up, it's one of their perks that they get. So if you want to know more about that kind of stuff, please click the link in the description or join the Discord. That's absolutely free. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this. So having fun is imperative. Having fun is the most important thing when it comes to riding a motorcycle. It's actually the most important thing when it comes to learning. If you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying, learning math or algebra, you're not going to want to do it. If you like algebra, you're going to learn how to do it. So think about your classes that you used to take that you had a lot of fun in. They're your favorite teacher. You learned a lot of stuff in that class, right? Now think about the one class that you didn't like. You probably don't remember, and on top of that, you don't even remember what the subject is. So if you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle effectively, efficiently, you're going to try to have fun. And I understand that, especially with someone like me with anxiety and depression, having fun on a motorcycle or having fun doing something that you should like and enjoy can be kind of difficult. So what I usually do is I force a smile. So I force a smile, and there's been studies showing, I'm not going to link them because, you can find a study for anything. But basically, if you force a smile to your body, you automatically become happier. So when you're out learning and when you're out trying to do something and you're getting a little scared, you're getting a little nervous, force a smile. So it's easy to do. Force a smile. You'll talk happier. You'll feel happier. And then when you're learning, you're actually going to remember a lot of that stuff. So when you start learning, you got to remember you got to start small. You really got to start small. Single skills first. And we're going to talk about single skills and then moving on to complex skills. But the best way I can relate that, okay, the best way that I can relate doing multi-skill exercises is that as a firefighter, when we first started learning stuff, when we first class, like one of the first classes was, this is a fire axe. Okay, here's the pointy end, here's the sharp end, here's the handle, this is how you hold it, and that's it. Then like the next day it would be like, here's a hose, here's how you roll the hose, here's how you throw the hose, here's how you, this is the coupling on the end of the hose, this is the jacket of the hose. Okay, cool. The next day was, how do you pull the hose off the engine? Okay, now how do you take the axe off the engine? Very good. The next day was, here's a ladder. All these different parts of the ladder. Very good. Now, like towards the end of 14 weeks, towards the end of the academy, it's like, okay, you have a fire on the second story building, go ahead and put it out, but there's a door in your way. So now you have to start grabbing, okay, the axe skill, that little skill that we practice on all day, cool, I got that. Here's the ladder, cool, I know how to put the ladder up, cool. Now here's the fire hose, cool, now I gotta climb up the ladder with the fire hose, with the axe, now I gotta take down you start building upon those single skills, those very small, single, itty-bitty skills. So how that relates to motorcycling and how that, works with what we do is that you start off small. Here's a kickstand. Here's a motorcycle. There's two wheels. Look at the controls. This is the cutoff switch. This is the horn. This is the turn signals. Stuff that you wouldn't think about because you just want to get going and you want to start riding, but stuff that you're going to have to do every day anyways. The kickstand is important. Here's the seat. Make sure the mirrors, check the mirrors. What is a mirror? What does the start button do? What do the hazards do? Okay. Now, after you've figured all that stuff out, now you go from never sitting on the motorcycle to starting it up. Cool, now we started it up. That's the single skill. Next is pulling the clutch, checking the clutch. What is the clutch? What is the shifter? What is the brake? What is the front brake? What is the rear brake? Is there a rear brake? All these things, and you start putting all these single skills together into a complex skill, which is starting the bike and moving forward. You see how it constantly moves, constantly moves. Your skill set is super low, and then once you get that confidence, you're going to go up here. And once you get that confidence from working on these single skills, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to start doing better. You're going to start enjoying going out on rides because now you've practiced all the little things that build up into the big things. And that's kind of what you got to do. To build up your confidence, you have to not be perfect at the small skills, but you need to know what they are. and you need to be like, I've done this 100 times. I've started the engine 100 times. I've pulled in the clutch, found the friction zone 100 times. I feel like I can go around the building. I feel like I can go down the parking lot. I'm confident in knowing how to work the clutch. You don't want to go from turning the bike on, pulling the clutch in, and trying to figure it out and how to get going right away. You're not going to be confident. You're not going to have fun. You might drop the bike. You're going to be discouraged. Start small. Man, I went on a huge tangent on that one. Remove as many dangerous variables as possible. Now, one thing that I've done with Nikki, and the one thing that MSF courses do is that we practice in a parking lot. You practice in a parking lot. What's the variable that you remove in a parking lot that is roped off? You remove traffic. You remove debris if you make sure everything's cleaned up. You remove anybody that could hit you. You remove any obstructions in the ground. So you're removing dangerous variables from the equation when you're training. And that's what you want to do when you start to train, first off. Now, how I worked and how I got to my beginner skill level was I trained in a neighborhood that there was no homes. I was lucky enough to live in a neighborhood where we're like the first phase when there's only like 10 homes, and they had streets, brand new streets with cul-de-sacs and everything with no homes, so nobody was there, no traffic. And I'd go train in there. Perfect road, cul-de-sacs. I'd go back and forth, practicing clutch, practicing stalling, practicing starting from a stop, because I'd stop at every stop sign, look left and right and go. I would practice that way. But if you find a parking lot that is empty, sometimes after work hours, sometimes on weekends, completely empty, big enough room, if you're able to get the bike there, I ride the bike there, and Nikki either walks or drives there, and when we get there, she trains on the bike. And what she does is she's able to practice in an environment that is as controlled as possible. It would be almost impossible to teach her how to work a clutch in the middle of the street, especially with traffic. So remove those variables as much as possible. And it's not just traffic that's the variable. If there's a ton of gravel where when you're practicing, bring a shovel and a broom, or whatever it is you can do to remove the gravel, remove the sand. If it's raining, don't train that day. That's a variable that can be very dangerous for a beginner rider. If it's nighttime, maybe that they're not as comfortable. Maybe animals start coming out. You can't see the road as efficiently. So as a new rider, that can be too much. That can be almost too much. And remember, you want to smile, you want to have fun when you're training. You don't want to be nervous and scared. So that is something very big. So once you start riding, once you start getting a little more confident, you start smiling. Let's say you feel so good with the friction zone with the clutch. Now you're just going around the building like Nikki. Nikki's going around the building. She's hauling ass. She's having a lot of fun. Cool. You feel confident. Well, keep practicing that. Just because you did it once great one day doesn't mean you're going to have a great next day. Doesn't mean you're going to have a great week. The first day of the MSF course, she was having a ton of fun. This is just an example. She was having a ton of fun practicing at the MSF course the first day. We bought the motorcycle. Cool. Everything was fine. The next day, the only thing that changed was Trina and Smith from Arizona Motorcycle Training Centers. All they'd said, and all we knew, both of us knew, is that, hey, there's going to be a test at the end of the day. But we're going to practice and train all day. And that right there, just the knowing that there's a test, knocked her off her confidence. So if you're out riding, training out in the parking lot, and you're like, man, I really want to go for that group ride this weekend. I really want to go ride with my buddy. I need to train. So you go train and you mess up because you're rushing it. You were confident the day before, but the moment you add that little variable, you're not as confident. So if you need to keep practicing. I equate it a lot like firewood when you go camping. Is that, yeah, I got enough firewood for the night. I got enough firewood to keep me, nice and warm or have a good time. It's almost getting dark. I would love to just sit down and relax. If you're in that mode of camping and you feel like you got you got enough firewood, make sure you get double that. That's the rule, is double the firewood. So then now you know. Another good quote is 2 is 1, 1 is none. So having a backup, having double the experience, double the confidence, double everything. If something fails, you still have the minimum amount. If you just do the minimum and something fails, you're not good enough. So just keep practicing before you go any group rides or go anything that's more advanced that you want to do and you feel like you can do because you're super confident. just keep practicing, and I even do that still. I still go out and practice on the roads, and I practice in the parking lot. It's always a good thing to do, is to hone your skills, get better. Your risk up here on a motorcycle is like super high. Your skills are here at the beginning, and you're super low, and it's called risk offset. So once your skills get a little higher, the risk goes down. But I mean, there's still going to be that risk there. There's always going to be that risk. Don't let your skills be the problem when it comes to like an accident or something. You want it to be where something out there, you know, bad, unlucky situation happens. And so hopefully, you know, your skill will offset a lot of that stuff. I just want to say thank you to my patrons for making this possible, because I was able to take the MSF course with Nikki, and now she's going to start riding. We're going to start doing a lot of cool stuff. And I cannot wait until I take the advanced course and become an instructor. And that's all because of my patrons. It's all because of you guys. If you want to join the Discord, that's absolutely free. If you want to see any of these other videos, I picked them out just for you. So I'll be seeing you guys very soon, and I'll be seeing you in the comment section, Discord, Patreon, everywhere. All right? All right, I'll be seeing you later.